Unlocking the Soul, hosted by Rob Simperman and produced by Simplify Films. Episodes cover mature and controversial themes. Consider this when deciding whether and when to watch.
32. The Brain as a World-Building Machine. I woke up the morning I wrote this section with an insight about the soul experience on Earth. Your brain is an efficient world-building machine, and that has implications for reality and your soul. Let me back up. So I have sleep apnea, where my breathing gets constricted periodically while I sleep. I've only had it for a year. Before that, I would wake up remembering 0 or 1 dream per morning, often hazy. Now, my sleep usually gets interrupted a couple of times during the dreaming REM cycles, so I often remember 3 or 4 dreams a night, sometimes very clearly. So now I track my sleep, and I noticed, for example, I had a 25-minute REM cycle just before waking up. And during that brief time, I was attending an industry conference or convention in Manhattan, entering a hotel ballroom full of vendors. I even called my boss from there and discussed how to work around some meetings I needed to call into so I could attend certain scheduled speakers. I even strategized how to best get the giveaways from the vendors before the other conference guests who were riding the elevator with me. Why am I telling you all this? Because I never had that experience. But in that 25 minutes, I lived a convincing, full-color, high-resolution, simulated reality that involved strategic thinking, social interactions, memories from my waking life, false memories, and emotions. Incredible. And I had other dreams during those other REM cycles I showed you. So tracking my sleep has helped me appreciate just what an efficient builder of worlds the brain is. There's not even any reason for the creation of an industry convention in Manhattan. That's just what it does when it disconnects from the signal that syncs up our brain with the collectively designed world, the world we share when awake. I've previously described the brain as a radio receiver, but that's not quite right. If you spin the tuner dial on a radio, you get static. But if you shut off the sensory input to your brain, you don't get static. It's as if your radio lost a signal from your NPR news station, and so your radio started creating its own programming with fictitious interviews, news reports, musical guests, and more, all on its own. And it's not just while you're sleeping. Cut off that matrix feed in a sensory deprivation tank, and you'll start hallucinating in minutes. It's exactly the same thing. You either feed the brain sensory input to drive the story, or it creates its own. So back to the soul. Does this mean that near-death experiences are hallucinations while the body's senses are offline? Or that past life regression hypnosis sessions are simply creations of a bored brain? Actually, the opposite, and I'll tell you why. And this is the conclusion I woke up with. Remember, what our physical bodies are, according to our spiritual sources, vehicles for the soul to experience the physical realms, 3rd through 5th densities. Our brains must be fairly self-sufficient because the frequential translations required to communicate between the physical and spiritual planes is extreme. Therefore, the need for our very own in-house reality generator is obvious. It's like how you'd want some decent computing power in your PC if your internet bandwidth was too slow to work off a remote server. Okay, next, the realities we experience, both the shared matrix and the auto-generated dream realities and hallucinations, are only backdrops. Stories on autopilot. We overlay our creativity and self-direction upon them, manipulating the templates with our free will. That free will comes from the higher planes. You want evidence of that claim? Okay. Number 1, when dreaming, you can go with the flow, but if you realize it's a dream, you can manipulate the plot, the characters, even the objects in your dream. You can create anything you want and direct a lucid dream. Number 2, it's the same thing with our waking matrix reality. If you take initiative, use positive affirmations, self-hypnosis, energetic healing, and other techniques, there's ample evidence throughout this and in my other videos that we can manipulate the game, take control, break momentum, and even the guardrails that many accept as given laws. Number 3, think about how you tap into creativity. When you need creativity, you reach up to the higher self, by flow, by getting in the zone, by channeling, or from your muse or the collective unconscious. Creators describe it with many different types of language, but always similarly, with connecting to a higher plane or higher self. It's similar to how a video game world full of challenges and non-player characters is a template, while the avatar is controlled by a higher intelligence with free will connected via a gaming controller. Number 4 is about who created the world-building machine in your head in the first place. The mind is a tool that your body and its driver, the soul extension, is endowed with by your oversoul. Your oversoul governs 12 soul extensions and is itself part of a monad of 12 oversouls, thus 144 soul extensions, each having numerous incarnations on physical worlds. Keep going up the hierarchy, and you eventually reach the pure or Christ consciousness, often called the frequency of creation itself. But all that is necessary for God, or all that is, to experience the dense lower planes. So this structure was put in place with your world-building brain as a key linkage to flow information back up the hierarchy to all that is. And finally, number 5, in addition to our current path of incarnations, we're told that advanced souls can create worlds on a grand scale, just as our collective matrix world was created for us. Dolores Cannon found that there's schools on various levels of the spirit world for souls at different stages of development. There are schools for becoming a guide, for learning to inspire our inventors, composers, and artists, and to become creators of worlds on which souls will have experiences like they have on Earth. She had subjects walk through the experience of creating biology and geology in fascinating detail. And so no, there's no stagnant paradise waiting for you after moving on from this life. Sorry. But what can we achieve and experience if we put in the effort to raise our frequency while here on Earth, or later on our journey of soul development?